Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Kelsey with Teaching Online with Kelsey, and I have this channel where I help online teachers and I create content for online teachers, but I also do Crow Music Lab tutorials for fun as well. So make sure it is not the last time that you see me. Hit that red subscription button and the bell down below where I will be releasing new videos every week. And to also get this video a thumbs up, it does support me and this channel. Now, before I really dig into this video's topic, I want to explain to you my memberships that I have here on YouTube. So if you've ever been curious about, how I do my videos behind the scenes, or you want insider Allschool tips, because I know many of you look to my videos for Allschool help. If you're wanting some insider tips that I have never done a video on before, or you just need some one-on-one coaching, or for my Crow Music Lab lovers, if you're just curious on how do I write these songs on Crow Music Lab, then join my YouTube memberships where you'll be able to get access to those behind the scene features, and you get special lives that only members get on my channel and nobody else. And of course, if you do my loyal fan membership, you get one-on-one coaching with me. So no pressure there, of course. But if you are curious about joining that membership, that link is going to be down below, along with the other links that I have that's going to help support the channel that I have here as well. Now, one thing I want to come on here for this video is I want to share with you all that the organization that I was working with on Outschool has decided to let me go. And I know what you might be thinking there. You might be thinking, well, why did they let you go, Kelsey? Did you do something? Was it not what you expected for an organization? And I know there hasn't really been a lot of talk about Outschool organizations with online teachers. It has been brought up to how to start an organization. And I've done a video should you even join an organization? And so what I'm about to share with is not a negative reflection on Outschool organizations, generally speaking. And I'm not even saying the organization that I was a part of is going to be a negative review either. So earlier last week, as I'm filming this, I got a notice from the owner of this organization that enrollments for the particular classes that I was teaching, which for context, the part of the organization that I was a part of with Outschool, it was specifically for Montessori lessons. And because I am a trained Montessori teacher, they were in need at the time of me getting on board with the organization. They were looking for more Montessori trained teachers to teach Montessori classes with them. And I said, absolutely, I fit the bill for that. I would be a great fit for that. However, in recent months and the way the world has been very recently, this is July 2022, by the way. So if you're not really sure what's going on in the world, it's inflation is very real. Some scary things. I don't talk about politics on my channel by any means. So I'm just gonna, when I did get this letter from the organization, they were seeing things that I was also seeing while teaching classes with the organization. And what that really was low enrollments for the classes. I would only teach 2 classes 2 days out of the week, and it would only have 1, maybe 2 learners in it. And I know what you're thinking. You're like, wow, Kelsey, just 1 learner, and two learners in total every week? That's such a waste of time. And the unfortunate reality for a lot of us online teachers, especially on Outschool, it's not just me. A lot of us are experiencing a decline in bookings and enrollments, including in summer camps. And some weeks I'm able to teach a lot of students in my camps. Other weeks, it's like crickets. nothing. It's so sporadic. It's not like how it's been in the past couple of years that me and other online teachers have been noticing in terms of summer camps. So, but to get back with the organization, both me and the organization have been seeing that the enrollments for the classes are not really that great. So the reason that they let me go is because, you know, there's not really that big of a need for Montessori teachers in that organization. And so they felt like they didn't want to waste my time if it meant, you know, if they offer all this availability, but nobody's signing up for it. And that's nobody's fault. It's not my fault. It's not their fault. So what I'm sharing is it's not in a negative light at all. And I do not want to shine a negative light on them either. So it's just what we've been experiencing, and it's just the reality of the world right now. And, you know, I should have seen it coming with the enrollments being so low, but because I wasn't sure if I was going to be teaching full camps or not, I took the opportunity if it meant I was still going to be able to earn a little bit of money on Outschool. So I didn't say anything, and I just stuck with it because I thought, well, at least this is something consistent happening with me in my schedule, since, you know, some weeks I may be teaching summer camps, other weeks I may not be teaching summer camps. And, you know, so that's just sort of my reality with Outschool. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't teach on Outschool by any means. I'm not saying Outschool's too saturated or anything like that. It's just my experience lately. So that's the whole reason why they had decided to let me go, was for that reason. So I didn't get fired. I didn't do anything wrong. They, you know, there was just not a need for my particular services that I was originally hired for. I was originally hired to work and teach Montessori-based classes and not the other alternative classes that they had. They specifically hired me on for that reason, and they no longer have a reason to keep me if there are no students coming in and taking the classes, which I feel is fair. And it also will give me an opportunity to play around with other things in my schedule to offer more classes on Outschool or Allschool. And I did mention in my previous video that I am in the search of a part-time job. So I may also have to be making room and schedule in whatever the days I do the part-time work, and schedule around part-time work and then when I teach my online classes. So be on the lookout for future videos for another scheduling update, because I foresee that happening pretty soon. So I'm not going to say, you know, what job it is or if I even get a job. You know, it's just all going to vary depending on what happens. It's just, now I know that I can move forward with a lot of things, and I'm not binded by any, you know, contract stipulations. Like, I know one of the main things about organizations is, you know, you are teaching someone else's classes on their behalf. So many of the fine print things on working with an organization is that you yourself try not to make content that's basically their content. And, you know, I abided by that. And that's why I withheld creating like more Montessori flex classes for my personal Outschool side of things, because there were a lot of classes they were offering on their site that I wanted to teach as a flex class, but I couldn't because I was trying to be respectful to what their rules were for teaching classes. And it did kind of work out in my favor because of where I was making my 5-star online teacher course, and I was doing Chrome Music Lab tutorials, and there were other things that I could indulge in besides trying to make Montessori Flex classes that were related to the classes that I was teaching with the organization. So, you know, overall though, I would say that I loved that I did have the opportunity to earn money consistently with an organization. Even if it wasn't that much, I knew it was something that I could rely on weekly, because a lot of times when you're doing your own thing and you offer camps or even, you know, one-time stuff, you're not guaranteed that you're going to get fully booked on those classes or even have 1 or 2 learners. And yes, on the flip side, you know, you're also not guaranteed to have learners in organization classes either. But at the same time, the purpose of a teacher starting an organization is because there are a lot of parents out there that are in need of a certain class that only a certain teacher has, but they cannot meet the demands. So they bring in other teachers to teach those classes for them on their behalf. So that's sort of the purpose for organizations. And, you know, will I apply for another Outschool organization? Maybe. I mean, I don't want to just completely throw it out the window. I think it just all depends on what's going to happen with like having to go and get a part-time job now, because inflation is ridiculous in terms of like, you want to know how ridiculous it is? Okay, so we have a grocery store called Aldi. Maybe you've heard of it. So a long time ago, I mean like last year, okay, so not really that long time ago, but I would buy eggs from there and it would be less than $1. Like it would be 89 cents for a dozen eggs. All right. I went grocery shopping at Aldi very recently, and 1 dozen eggs is $1.50. $1.50. Like it's, we went from almost $1 to $1.50 for a dozen eggs. And I mean, Aldi generally has very, very good prices in terms of like produce and meats and cheese and all of your basic necessities and food, you know, you could get at Aldi. But like even though I have been trying to get the majority of my groceries at Aldi, like it's ridiculous. So inflation's very real. You know, so I have to rely on something consistent, even if it means going and doing something part-time. Now, is there a hope that maybe this is temporary? Maybe. But if there are not any big changes in terms of like stopping inflation, or at least like increasing prices, or seeing like more streams of income coming in, a little more, you know, the job may be a little bit longer than expected. You know, I can't say whether that's the case or not. So kind of a little bit into vlogging in my life, but just, you know, all's to say for the organization, you know, it just depends on if I'm going to be able to have the time to do that. You know, I do have a channel that I have to run. And if there are other online teachers that are asking me to like speak in their conferences or to do a video for them, I want to be readily available to do that as well. I recently just did a project with Jenna Lee. So her channel, it's Jenna Lee. So I'm super excited to be doing that. So I want to be able to do those opportunities for them as well. And by the way, this project, I'm going to go ahead and tell you the project. Okay. So this project that I did for Jenna Lee, it's for her membership that she has to offer, but it's for how to monetize your YouTube channel. And so her members are going to get that. But here's the thing, because I mentioned my YouTube memberships, I will offer how to get monetized on YouTube on my YouTube membership page. So that's going to be the thing. You're only going to be able to see that if you are a member of my channel. That's just how that works. So just so you know, if you're curious about how to get started, and again, it's my secrets, it's my tips to how I get to where I am now with my channel and my business, the memberships are there. But again, I know it's no pressure, and I know inflation is probably affecting you too. So you may be like, Kelsey, I really want to help you, but so I want to make sure that for that particular video, that it's going to be available to all members and not just the loyal fan members. So just so you know. Now, another thing that I want to discuss for this particular video is going to be an Allschool update. And this particular Allschool update that I am going to share with you is actually going to be pretty innovative. It's going to be a game changer in terms of how you make your content specifically for Allschool. Now, if you are only an Outschool teacher and you don't really have an interest in teaching for Allschool, this is not going to be very applicable for you. So I'm going to tell you that now. But Allschool has personally invited me to try out their PowerCourse. Now, what exactly is this PowerCourse? Well, I'm going to switch over to my computer and I'm going to show you that. The first thing that I want to show you with PowerCourse is how it actually looks on Classpod, first of all. And then after that, I will show you what PowerCourse looks like on my end and on their end, and how and what it looks like to create slides for PowerCourse that you can then add on to Classpod. So I will go ahead and show you. When you go to the library button here on Classpod and click on that, you're going to click on this file here. It says ICW, and this is the PowerCourse. The PowerCourse slide presentation with interactive features on there that you can use for your slides or for your classes instead of the slides that you uploaded to use for Classpod instead. So, and that is my dog. I am so sorry if you can hear that on there. So it takes a little bit to load when you click on it. So this will load, and what you are about to see is something that is going to be really, really interactive. So, like, I created it where, like, the planets would be spinning and the astronaut would come in. And let me just show you some of the features on here. So, when you click on the next slide, you know, there are 8 planets in the solar system. So that's like a teaching thing. So then the next part I have is like a interactive multiple choice options that learners can tap on their screens. And so, you know, when I ask, you know, how many planets are in the solar system? And, you know, and they will choose 8. And then once they choose that answer, right?
Good job.
Then it has that little feature where you can touch on the answer and submit it. And then it also has drag and drop features on here. So let me get to that. So I have here a drag and drop feature where I will encourage learners to drag and drop, you know, water, air, and land for Earth. So, right, they have the water icon that you click to and you drop it. So, and I created all this from scratch. So, this wasn't like a pre-made template from PowerCourse or anything like that. So, this was something that I was able to create on PowerCourse. And so, this is really, really innovative for Allschool to offer, to be able to offer something beyond even Canva. And I mean, you know how much I talk about Canva on all of my videos, like almost all of my videos. I brag about how wonderful Canva is. And so this is what we wish Canva could do. And so right now, this content that we're downloading here works well with Classpod, and so for Allschool classes. And so I'm going to show you what PowerCourse looks like on my end and how you can start creating PowerCourse courses for your Allschool classes, and that you don't always have to go to Canva and make your slides all the time. Which is actually kind of crazy for me to say, don't go to Canva, because I always talk about Canva. Now, if you feel like your lessons do not require these interactive activities, then obviously go to Canva. You know, but if you like that your students are interacting, or if you're making like escape rooms, or you're adding like fun games, then PowerCourse is going to be great for those extra features that would otherwise be manually done if you did it on Canva. So let me show you how that works. So when you log into PowerCourse, you are actually going to use your Classpod or your Allschool login to get into PowerCourse, because as I mentioned before, this is only for Allschool. So for Allschool teachers. So maybe you're looking into Allschool, or maybe, you have started on Allschool and you're just trying to figure everything out. So, just know that the fact that Allschool has been willing to create something where you can make your own interactive slides with games and escape rooms and all that sort of thing is just like a step up a notch compared to Outschool. And I'm not ripping on Outschool by any means. It's just this is where Allschool's really going above and beyond expectations. They just continue to blow my mind and what they have to offer for online teachers. So when you go into PowerCourse, as you see here, you will see that I have already created the slides. So I'm just gonna kind of show you like some of the features that I've used and how I was able to incorporate that into my lessons. So we are going to edit that, as you see here, and it will open up, like so. So I have already taken the time to kind of play around with it a little bit, and I just want to show you some of those little features on here. So you'll see here at the top, it'll say new slide. Now, when you click on new slide, they do have demo slides that you can use for creating your lesson. And then they also have the templates, and it'll give you all sorts of different options for like templates. So if you need multiple choice templates to add to your page, you can add that. Or you could do fill in the blank, or you can do matching or drag and drop. So the drag and drop is really fascinating to me. And then if you just go back to all, you can just do a blank tablet here, or a blank slide, and you can add your own drag and drops or multiple choice or pictures, whatever you would like to do there. That's what I typically like to do, is to just create everything from scratch, and that way you're making original content on here. And so if you are watching it this far and you are thinking, Kelsey, I'm not really sure how to write lessons, I don't know where to even start, I've never really done online teaching before, how do you even teach online? So in case you were not aware, I do have a course called the 5-Star Online Teacher. So that course is going to be designed for brand new online teachers to help roadmap their journey into lesson planning for your classes, and to be able to lesson plan effectively and not just create something off the whim and just hope for the best. So, of course, the link for that is going to be down below in my description. So check that out if you're still having trouble trying to find lessons to teach online, or if you're like, oh, I'm not really sure what I want to teach. So let me help you get there. So, but let's say for this video, you have applied to Allschool and you are, and you have been online teaching before, or you know what you want to teach. So you are just creating the slides for PowerCourse. And so what you see here is for the slide here, you can go up to these little widgets here. So there is a button called widget, but for text, this will be like to add simple text, or there's like little thought bubbles as you see here, with the little astronaut. It says, let's explore the solar system. So you can add that as a text or a sticky note. And then you can also do tiles, which is what you also see in this next slide. So this is like part of the tiles, is using this little thing here. And then you can also add shapes, and you can type in those shapes text as well. You just double click on it and you can type in something into the shapes as well. And for the pictures, you can search for images, both with the Pixabay and the Giphy if you really want. But then they also have other features, so if you were looking for a blackboard or a card, you got options to choose from there too. And then you could do fruits, you can do different food, as you see here. So you got choices. And then if you want to look up pictures, you can do that. You can also upload a separate video or audio sounds to your slides if you have any slides that you want to have, any like music in the background, or if you want like special sound effects, you can download it onto there. And this goes for audio and video. All you would have to do is whatever you have saved in audio or video, you could drag it or you could search it within your own computer, and it'll upload into the slide that you're working on. And the widgets, this is where like the fun interactive stuff comes in. So you can do multiple choice, as you see here. So I'll click on this slide. So it would just be like one little thing here at a time. So you could click and then it'll pop up like this, and you can type in the answer on there. And you can do all sorts of different colors and shapes. And then you can also do fill in the blank. If you want your students to fill in the blank on the computer, they can. The fill in the blanks are definitely recommended for older children and not necessarily younger children. So I don't know who needs to hear that, but that's I don't do fill in the blanks for mine because I teach littles. So there's also matching features, and then there's also drag and drop. Now, let me open up a new slide. I'm going to show you the drag and drop, because the drag and drop can be a little confusing, or at least it was confusing for me. So I'm going to click on the circle. Now what you see here, if you're going to do a drag and drop, so this widget here is going to be the drag that you see here, and then this little widget is where you want the learner to drop. So it will be the drag and drop. And let's say you are wanting to do like fruits that are red. So let's say, let's do an apple, right? And we put an apple here. And so obviously apples are red. So what you're going to do is, you have the item that you want to drag and then drop in here. And so you also want to, and you want to add other things. So let's say you can add another apple here, and you can change it. So it doesn't always have to be apples. You would just click on it, and you can have the option to change the picture. So if you would rather do, a blueberry, you can change it there too. And so let's say you only want them to drag like the apple, so a red apple for red. So once you have your answers here, right? Once you have your answers, you know, the next step that you're going to do, right? You're going to click on answer configuration. And you'll also see, which I'll move this here, on the top right, you'll see basic, you'll see animation, and then you'll see answer. So when you can click on that little teeny tiny answer configuration button, or you could go to answer here, and you're going to choose, right? It'll go into an arrow, and then choose where it goes, click on it, and make sure you click on it. And if that is the answer, then you're going to click on this button right here, and it says finish. And then that will set the learner to basically say, you know, if they do blueberry, you know, then what will happen, so I'll do the preview of it. Let's say they do blueberry, you know. So that's sort of the control for PowerCourse, is if they chose blueberry to drag and they do the check mark, you know, it'll tell them, nope, not quite right. So I love that little feature on there for this. And so, and you'll also see you can change the borders on there, and you can change it to different colors, and you can change the picture, and you can lock it in place if you want to, although I don't know why you would. And this little button here is where you can animate your little pictures. And so with the pictures, you can choose to fly in, you can choose to fade in, appear, you can have it blank, spin, linear, curvilinear, you know, or you could have it expand, you know, or you could even, when you leave the slide, you can even tell it, oh, time to go, bye. So if you wanted to add those fun features on there, you would just click on that little @ symbol, and it'll give you options. And then let's say we do fly in for the blueberry. Now you'll see you'll have, you know, where, you know, what option you want the item to do and where you want it to come from. So either the left side or the right side, and then how long you want it to come to the section that you put it in. And then down here, you can click on when you want it to start. So what I have experienced is when you do entering this page for like the first item that you want seen pop up, is entering the page and whether you want to delay on it or not. And so I'll show you how that looks like when we do each thing. So I like the fly in. I think it's fun. And so we're on the second little thing here, and I'm trying to get down. So, and sometimes that can be a little tricky to get down to the other little widget stuff. So, and then what the idea for this is that you are able to change it where like the blueberry comes first, and then the apple, and then the banana. So that's generally how that's going to be. And if you want to delete the slide, you just right click and delete. Yes, delete, because it was just an example. So yeah, so those are just some of the basic features that I've discovered that I really, really like on PowerCourse. And so again, you can do animations, you can change the background. So I picked the space theme, but when you do background, you can do like basic colors, you can do gradients, you can even upload an image if you really, really want to. And then dimensions, layers. So I mean, there's a lot of stuff. Now, you may have seen this button up here that says import from PPT. So what does that really mean? So that was YouTube telling me about turning red, I guess because I did a turning red video. Okay, so it says, please upload Microsoft PowerPoint file. So what that will mean, right? So I do not have Microsoft because I have a MacBook. So this is only applicable right now for Microsoft PowerPoint. So if you have been using Microsoft PowerPoint for like your lessons, then this will be really helpful. But personally, I like the features that you can use on here to create stuff from scratch on PowerCourse. So I recommend playing around with that and being able to experiment with those things. So I thought it was fun. I am actually going to use this little feature here for my lesson coming up tonight and see what the kids think about it. So I'm excited to try it out that way. And I hope seeing this will be able to encourage you to try out PowerCourse whenever it becomes available to you, because as I'm filming this, I don't believe it's available to everyone yet. But I wanted to give you some insider tips just to see what to look forward to when teaching with Allschool. So I'm excited that they're doing this. I'm excited that this is just one way for teachers to interact with their children or their learners more so than just the slides that they see on Classpod or drawing all over Classpod. And so as far as I know, you can still use all of the Classpod features while using the drag and drop slides with the PowerCourse. So that's also really cool, especially if you like to write things or type things out on the Classpod feature with your other slides that maybe you created with Canva. So I really like that Allschool, again, is above and beyond expectations, because I know for a lot of you coming in, you may be thinking, well, Allschool is just a lot like Outschool. They're just being a copycat. And this is where they're really shining as an online program to offer these types of services for us. And right now, as I'm filming this, Classpod is still, they're still only taking 10% of your earnings for classes, which is still awesome. So if you've ever been curious about joining Allschool, I still have my free guide down below in the description box. So, feel free to pick that up if you still need some help with starting that Allschool online teaching process. And, thanks for tuning in, and I will see you in the next video.